Good evening and welcome to CYC News for today, the 3rd of August 2014 and the 27th of Abib 1730. I'm Angie. In today's headlines, Pope Tawadros makes a surprise visit to a Coptic church in Vienna. Patriarch Laham calls on Iraqi Christians to stay in their land. Bill to label Muslim Brotherhood terrorists presented to U.S. Congress. A full international team searches the MH17 crash site for bodies. And the World Health Organization says Ebola virus is spreading too fast. Pope Tawadros II, Pope of Alexandria and Patriarch of St. Mark Episcopate, surprised Coptic Christians in Austria when he left the monastery he was staying at to lead Mass on Saturday at St. Mark's Church in Vienna after 10 days and treatment at the monastery of St. Anthony near the capital Vienna. The Pope said in his sermon, "My health is good, and I thank God who blessed me with this improvement in my health and the healing of my back from its pain." His Holiness thanked all Egyptians inside and outside Egypt who inquired about his health and prayed for his healing. His Holiness was residing in a monastery outside the city where he was receiving treatment. After Mass, the Pope was keen to meet the people of the church, exchange cordial talks, and take photos with them, although he was still in recovery. Then he left the church to return to the monastery. Pope Tawadros will return to Cairo Tuesday after his medical treatment. He received an intensive program of physiotherapy to treat pain in his back. Patriarch Gregorius Laham of Antioch and all the East for Melkite Catholics called on Iraqi Christians to stay in their land. Patriarch Laham commented on the asylum that France intends to give Iraqi Christians after it announced its willingness to receive them in its territory. His Holiness recalled Pope Francis's last visit to the Middle East, in which the Pope said that the solution in the Middle East lies in achieving peace in Syria and justice for Palestinians. The Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant gave Christians in Mosul a grace period until 12 p.m. on July 19th to choose one of three options: to leave Mosul and leave their property behind, to stay in Mosul provided they convert to Islam, or pay jizya, otherwise they would be killed. Christians have left the city, where their community has lived for thousands of years, in droves after the announcement. ISIS has blown up and burned many churches, mosques, and Shiite mosques in the city of Mosul and surrounding areas since it took control of the city on June 10th. A bill that would label Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization was submitted on Thursday to the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Foreign Affairs, Finance, and the Judiciary. Republican Michelle Bachmann, who has previously spoken out against the Brotherhood, presented the bill. According to the World Bulletin, the proposed legislation would impose sanctions and deny entry to the U.S. for any members or representatives of the Muslim Brotherhood and affiliated groups. It would also see Brotherhood members already in the U.S. deported and require U.S. companies holding funds for the organization to declare them to the U.S. Treasury, the World Bulletin said Saturday. In a December op-ed for the Daily News Egypt, Bachmann wrote that if the Egyptian government was going to consider the Brotherhood a terrorist organization, the U.S. government should also do the same. Magdi Khalil, spokesman for the Coptic Solidarity Organization, said, "The Coptic Solidarity, Middle East Freedom Forum, and Friends of Egypt caucus in the U.S. Congress intensively worked to issue a decision that the Muslim Brotherhood is a terrorist group. Our efforts resulted in a draft resolution to H.R. 5194 presented to the U.S. Congress by our friend Republican Michelle Bachmann and 7 other members to label the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist group in the United States. The draft resolution will be discussed soon." A full team of 60 international investigators has begun searching for human remains after forging a treacherous path through a war zone to reach the Malaysia Airlines crash site. The team said they felt safe for the time being, but volleys of Grad missiles could be heard thumping in the mere distance. There is wreckage strewn across 8 kilometers, and there are no assurances that the site, which is now a major battlefront, is safe. 298 people died last month after MH17 was almost certainly hit with a surface-to-air missile. It came as President Barack Obama told Russian President Vladimir Putin overnight that the U.S. remains deeply concerned that Russia is ramping up support for pro-Russian separatists in Ukraine. It was the first conversation between the leaders since the US and Europe slapped a new round of economic sanctions on Moscow. The Ebola outbreak in West Africa is spreading faster than efforts to control it, World Health Organization head Margaret Chan has said. She told a summit of regional leaders that failure to contain Ebola could be catastrophic in terms of lives lost. But she said that the virus, which has claimed 728 lives in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone since February, could be stopped if well managed. Ebola kills up to 90% of those infected. It spreads by contact with infected blood, bodily fluids, organs, or contaminated environments. Patients have a better chance of survival if they receive early treatment. Initial flu-like symptoms can lead to external hemorrhaging from the eyes and gums, and internal bleeding that can lead to organ failure. The basic techniques for stopping Ebola are well known. The problem is applying them. Since the virus was first identified in 1976, there have been dozens of outbreaks and all of them have been contained. Experts point to these successes as evidence that this latest threat can be overcome too. But working against them are suspicions among local people and the unavoidable fact that this is an extremely poor part of the world, much of it still reeling from conflict. Deploying the right equipment in properly trained hands is always going to be a struggle, one that is now extremely urgent. And that's all for CYC News. Stay tuned to CYC for more Christian content on the channel. I'm Angie, and from the CYC studios in Sydney, Australia, we wish you a happy and blessed fast of St. Mary. Good night and God bless.